Hello everybody, this is Cassie with Northwoods Pilates. Welcome back for our final 10 days of March Madness. We're going to be starting with the hip circles. So you have just finished your teaser, you're holding up in your teaser position. And then elbows down will transition into hip circles. Again, lifting out of those shoulders. Hip circles is basically a lifted version of corkscrew. It's a very challenging exercise. 3 sets in each direction with those legs hugging in toward one another. Good. And then come all the way back down. Take a little stretch for that low back. Let's transition onto your stomachs and we'll do a little bit of our swimming. So arms straight overhead. You're going to inhale, lift up the arms, legs, head, and chest. Hold up there and do straight legs and straight arm flutter kicks. If you have really tight shoulders, feel free to take those arms kind of like a goalpost or out wider, and that should help. Swimming in Pilates, just like swimming in real life, is a good one not to do on a full stomach. You're going to try to stay up there for a count of 10 full breaths. And then sit back, as we always do after that extension, into a child's pose and take some nice deep breaths. And then for our next move, you're going to be in a high plank for leg pull. So if being in a high plank is challenging enough, you could skip the leg movement and just do a plank or a plank on your forearms. If you want to add the movement, it's a point forward with that foot flex and then replace the leg. We're alternating legs, 3 on each side. And then to transition, one hand over, rotate the spine if you can, keep those hips lifted. We're going to point the toes up, flex the heel down, keeping those hips as high as you can there. 3 on each. And then transitioning right into Sidekick Kneeling. You're going to be hand back behind the head, other hand right under the shoulder, trying to lift that leg as high as you can, even as high as hip height if you can get there. 3 there, and then just flip over to the other side. Flex, flex, point, point. 3 times. Good. We're going to go into side bends. So I'm going to flip back to that other side. Straighten out those legs. Top leg over in front of the bottom one. Top hand's going to rest. It's like a big mermaid movement, side bending over, and then exhale, come down. Your hip will just hover right above the floor. 3 times, getting as much of that arch and extension as you can. And then we'll do 3 times on that other side. If you want to make this exercise more challenging, you can stack the feet. So rather than having the top leg over, one foot would rest on top of the other one. Good. And then we'll get ready for Boomerang. Boomerang's a really fun exercise composed of a bunch of other exercises. So you're going to sit tall and cross at the ankles. It starts looking like a jackknife. You're going to roll back, but then open and close the legs. Exhale, roll up into your teaser. Hold there, hands back behind you, hook the thumb, stretch the arms, reach around toward the ankles, and then stack back tall. Your ankles will be crossed opposite of what they were before, and you'll go into that next boomerang, finding that balance even just for a moment, stretching those shoulders, and then stacking back tall. So it's 3 full breaths. Inhale to roll back. Exhale, open, close the legs. Inhale up into that teaser. Exhale as you stretch those arms back. Inhale around to the ankles, and then exhale back tall. Good, that rolling through the spine. Open, close the legs, finding your balance, and then stretch, reaching nice and long, stacking tall. Good, last one here. So your goal is to do 3 with each leg placement. So I was wrong, this is the last one. And then come all the way back up. Big stretch. Good. We're going to do seal. So for seal into crab, you want to make sure you have enough room behind you, but also enough room in front of you. Hands are through those legs, holding onto the ankles. You're going to do 3 claps of the feet and then roll back and do, if you can, 3 more claps overhead. So balancing on the sits bones and then balancing on your shoulders. This is a good exercise for the hips. That inhale as you roll back, exhale back up. Good, and then we'll transition. So we're going to roll back, cross the feet at the ankles, hold on to the tops of the feet, come up and over your knees. You're going to tap your head down, lift from the belly to roll back, rolling again, switch the cross of the ankles. A couple of tips here. If you don't cross the ankles very deep, like if you kind of cross them as shallow as possible, it's easier to bring your body up and over. And also using your core muscles to control as your head comes down to the floor will make it so that you don't feel like you're going to go crashing head first without your hands into the floor. So alternating there, we'll do 3 with each leg placement for the crab. And from crab, just let go of your hands there. Stretch the legs out behind you. We'll go into rocking. So rocking, you're going to reach back, and if you can, you're going to grab onto the tops of those feet. This might be enough of a stretch for you. Otherwise, you can try to push the feet into your hands and rock on your abdomen. 3 to 5 variations there. And then rather than doing a child's pose like we normally would, we're going to transition right into that control balance. So you're just going to turn onto your back, arms down beside you, and then it starts just like a jackknife again. So you're going to roll up. This time, balance on those shoulders. So you're going to take those legs as high as you can toward the ceiling without feeling like you're going to fall, and then rotate the arms back one at a time. If you want, you can add a little stretch, kicking one leg down at a time. That other leg is going to stay lifted to provide a counterbalance point. We're going to do 3 on each leg. And then there's a fancy transition up to standing. So those legs are going to stay lifted. Arms are going to rotate back down. Cross the legs at the ankles. Roll down, plant your feet, and twist all the way up to standing. We'll get ready for push-ups. So heels together, toes apart, arms up to the ceiling, a releve. You're going to lift the heels ever so slightly. Roll your spine down. If you need to bend the knees, you can. Walk out into that high plank. 3 push-ups here. Walk back in. You can also skip the push-ups if that is too much. Still that little lift of the heels, and you'll roll all the way back tall. Trying to keep your balance. We'll go into some one-leg push-ups. So your foot's going to be flat. Opposite leg is going to extend back behind you. Roll your spine down and then walk forward. That back leg's just going to stay lifted. Again, 3 push-ups. Walking back in. Flat foot. Control that rolling back up and try to keep your balance. A little challenging there. Good. Also, your hair might be crazy at this point. And then last one here, switch to that other foot, roll down. Walk out into that high plank. 3 push-ups there. Keep that back leg lifted. Roll back in, walk back in. Roll your spine back up. Try to find your balance there. And then bring that leg back down. Wonderful. That was our 2020 March Madness. Thank you so much for playing along. To find more videos, visit us at YouTube or check us out at www.northwoodspilates.com.